I don't share this too often um, online with people, but I remember back in 2015 when my sister had passed away and gone home to be with the Lord. I had to travel to her homegoing service. I ultimately had to be the one to perform and give the eulogy. I didn't go there with the expectation that I would be the one doing it. I had someone in particular in mind, that who I was hoping that was going to do it for me, because the service was being held at his church. He being a pastor, one of the pastors there, I was hoping that he would be the one that would do it for me, so that I could kind of get my family, my nieces and my nephews, my nephew, through that difficult time, her friends, her coworkers, because my sister was very beloved, a very beloved person, and seeing that church filled to capacity, standing room only, it was a daunting, event to have to be a part of and to go through. And so I was going there with the hopes that this person would be the one to do the service. And when I got there, he turns to me and says to me, "No one can eulogize your sister better than you. And so I'm going to give you the opportunity to do it." And I'm thinking, okay, get up and speak for 2 to 5 minutes and sit down. No, he says, no, 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 you're going to do the complete eulogy. And so I had to stand not in my own strength, but the strength of God, to be able to stand before family and friends and to eulogize and to perform my sister's funeral. Well, after that was over with and I had to travel back home, driving over close to 400 to 600 miles. Um, when I finally made it home, I noticed that I was having some issues with my vision, especially times at night when it gets real dark. And I would have to find better roads that were more well lit to travel, because roads that were not as well lit, I would have difficulty traveling down them, and I would have to literally try to avoid them. When I finally went to go see the eye doctor about this concern, um, I was given the news that I was diagnosed with retina pigmentosus in 2015. Retina pigmentosus is a degenerative eye disease that a person is born with, because maybe one of the family members, the mother or the father, ends up passing it on to the son or the daughter. And some, they end up detecting it very early in the child life, but then there are others like myself, they become aware of it much later in their life, sometimes in their late 20s to their mid 30s to into their 40s. And so after driving almost 400 to 600 miles, basically I was given the diagnosis. So I'm thinking, okay, what medicine can you give me so we can deal with this? And it was known, Mr. Strong, we have concerns that ultimately within 3 to 5 years, you're going to go blind. So you can imagine hearing that type of news was very devastating, on top of now just driving 400 to 600 miles and burying my sister, to now finding out that there's no cure for this disease, and that there's the concern that I would end up losing my sight within 3 to 5 years. And I was back in 2015. Now, as you can see, I still can see now here in 2024, getting ready to go into 2025. However, the effects of it, I have been impacted. It impacts my peripheral and being able to see things out of my peripheral. It impacts me being able to travel comfortably at night. So I don't drive at night anymore. It impacts me in terms of real bright sunny days where the sun is so glaring that it makes it difficult to see driving. Um, and sometimes being in lit, poor lighting places where the light is very poor, and there's not a well lit room, it impacts me in that way. And so what am why am I sharing this? I'm sharing this is because this diagnosis has been at times very challenging and very tough and hard to deal with. At first, I didn't deal with it with the right attitude. I didn't deal with it with the right perspective. I didn't seek out getting help and counsel from others. I just said, okay, I'm just going to deal with it. I'm just going to push through this the best way I can. But instead of me reaching out and getting help from others, it made it difficult for me in my daily living and my ability to work. It made it difficult for me in terms of being able to deal with my family, because there are times where, as I'm saying, as I'm walking and traveling and I don't see something in my peripheral, and something blindsides me and I end up running into something, it becomes very frustrating. And so I had to learn how to deal with it with the right attitude, with the right perspective, and seeking the right help from people to be able to deal with it. But most importantly, I had to learn how to start trusting God with it, because there have been times when I've been diagnosed with other things in my life and I've experienced God healing me from that, whether through the medicine that was prescribed through doctors, or I've been healed from a particular diagnosis because he did it. And he did both of them, whether through the prescription of doctor medicine or through his divine healing power. But to now be diagnosed with something where I have to learn how to deal and live with this, manage dealing with it every day, that was a challenge. Well, I fast forward now. As I said, there was some concerns back in 2015 that if this progresses, that if it gets into my retina, I would ultimately go blind. Well, based on my last checkup at my eye doctor, they haven't seen any progressiveness of this disease where it's not in any way affecting my retina. So there are no concerns of me going blind. So to be able to experience and to see my daughter get her high school diploma, and to take her up to her first year of college, and to get her settled into her dorm, being able to see it without having the assistance of a cane or a dog lets me know trusting God is working, and he is helping me to get through these hard times. Are there still challenges? Are there still concerns of me having this? Yes, it is. But it's a matter of me learning to trust God. And so I share this personally. Like I said, I don't never that all go that in detail about this, but I share this because there's someone who is listening and watching this on the replay. It may not be retina pigmentosis that you've been diagnosed with. You may be being diagnosed with something else, and it's going to impact your livelihood. It's going to impact your independence of being able to do things on your own, where now you have to start depending upon others for support and being able to go places, because you won't be able to take yourself there. You won't be able to get yourself there without someone else's assistance. And it's going to impact how you feel, your pride, and your independence of self independence of being able to do for yourself. And when that goes away, how do you get through those hard times? You get through them with the right way.